Good morning. I am Steve Weber. Welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show. Wow, we got a fun show coming up here. So fun that I'm going to skip the monologue this morning. I'm just going to get right into it with Nicci because she has lots to say. Nicci Roscoe, back by popular demand. So she'll come up in just a minute after I make the introductory announcements. Alrighty, so hey, welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show, broadcasting on the American Gumption Facebook page and YouTube channel, and the Spiritual Communities Network and Spirituality Gone Wild. So we are just reaching out and broadcasting wherever we can find people that are interested in hearing these wonderful messages. So Nicci is definitely been the most popular guest that we've had on the show. She's coming back for, I don't even know, sixth, seventh time, something like that. So anyway, we're glad to have her back. And as I said, I'm going to just tell you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about My Crystal Guide, her brand new book. Brand new, fresh off the page. Look at this. I got my own copy right here too. So there we go. So that's what we're going to talk about with Nicci in just a minute. All righty. So now in the meantime, let me just tell you what's going to happen the rest of the week and then at the beginning of next week. So we've got Kiva Dag joining us tomorrow. Kiva Dag, and she is going to talk about elemental medicine, the elements of earth, air, fire, and water. So I met Kiva about a week ago, and she is a delightful young lady, full of energy and full of knowledge. And she's going to come to us and tell us all about the elemental medicine and how she had her awakening and with the elements. So that's tomorrow. On Friday, Darlene Ondi joins us from Canada, and she is a freedom fighter. You know, this last year has been a wild ride, and all of the disruption that we faced. And she is a freedom fighter. She's basically working with other people up in Canada to make sure that rights and sovereign rights are not lost forever. And so we've all been kind of forced to do things differently. And she's making sure that, things go back to a way. We all want freedom. That's the bottom line. And so she'll join us on Friday. All righty. I'm planning to not do a live show on Monday. That's probably going to happen in terms of I won't be broadcasting Monday. And that typically happens. A lot of times I take Monday off. And then on Tuesday, Denise Flood will join us. And Denise is going to talk about tapping. So energetically cleaning up portions of your body through the use of tapping. So she'll explain what that's all about and how it's something that she's been using. So, and then I've got a guest next Friday, and I think I have a guest on Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll see what happens. So, all righty. Now, without further ado, let's bring Nicci Roscoe to the screen. There she is. Hello, Nicci.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
I am doing great. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I've been reading My Crystal Guide. There you go. I am so. I mean, this thing is like fresh off the press, and I've got my own copy. I feel very privileged to have had it. This book is. We're going to get into it. But it's fantastic. It's really quite amazing. It's like a textbook in a way, and yet it reads like a storybook. So, you and Philip did a brilliant job of putting it together. And so we'll get into the details of it. And I've got a little bit of a slideshow to kind of follow along, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, what a great thing.
And I've got some pictures from the thing, but there's so much information that all we can do is just touch on it. So what I wanted to do is, if it's okay with you, is, we'll just kind of go through the chapters and talk about it. But before we do that, just give us the big picture. How did the book come to be? What was the motivation behind it, and what was your kind of original thinking as you set forth on this project? So tell us about the genesis of it and how how it became a real book today. We love that.
Hang on, as you do that, every time you do that, I'm bringing mine up. Well, first of all, Philip and I are very, very proud to have our beautiful book, My Crystal Guide, that is published by Seco Books. So we're absolutely delighted with it. And I've worked with children for many years of all ages. Literally from sort of very young, from 4 years old, all the way up to teenagers, and of course adults. And I work with children in schools. And when Philip and I got together, as it were, he was talking to me about this vision he had to write a children's book for crystals. And he said that he never got to do it, and he couldn't find the right person to write it with. And he just didn't know what, he just planned it with his publishers for many, many years. They've been talking about it. So I said, what are you waiting for? I said, let's do it. He said, really? I said, yeah, come on, let's do it, Philip. Anyway, so we had a chat with his publishers. They were wonderful. And knowing the experience that I've had with children as well, and my understanding of crystals and how special and how magical they are. I mean, I love crystals, you know, when I was a tiny child, really little, from probably about 4 years old, used to love all the sparkliness and everything. And I'm surrounded by them now as well, always, every day. So that's really how it came about, is that Philip said, okay, then let's do it. And we wrote it together. But he had this vision for many, many years. I think early 2001 or 2 or whatever it was, he's just wanted to write this book for years.
And my understanding, Nicci, is that this was a pretty fast track project. This when did that conversation take place? When you said let's do it, and then I mean that's not several years ago. That's recent.
No. Yeah. Last year, possibly August or September or something like that. And we just went for it. I mean, I talk about when we went for it. There were very late nights writing and talking to each other. When I was writing something for one chapter, Philip was writing something for another chapter. And then we used to sort of meet in the middle and discuss it. And he'd write one bit, I'd write another bit. And it was just such fun. It was so wonderful. And then, of course, making sure that it worked for children from ages 7+, and at the same time making sure that it worked for adults too. So this book is fantastic for literally 7+ or even 6+, all the way through to 107. You know, I mean, whatever ages, because it's very simple. It's simply written. It's very visual. And it can just, if you really you love crystals, but you just don't really know much about them, this is a wonderful place to start. It really is, because we've given the basic knowledge and more, with so much in it that we're going to talk about.
It's really quite brilliant in the way that you wrote it for children, and yet as an adult reading it, the information was very like meaty, and I could see where you were writing it to a youngster, and yet at the same time, like I didn't feel like I was being talked down to, or it wasn't like a children's book, like where it was a simple thing. There is a lot of information, and they're all like little stories. So as you turn the page, and the chapters are organized into a collection of stories that are all kind of themed together, and yet you can just open up to almost any page and you can be entertained, not only entertained, but educated, learned. And it's, I mean, I don't know how you two did it, but it's quite brilliant. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Philip, if you're watching, love you loads.
Hey, well, let me just brag on Philip a little bit, because my gosh, I didn't know. I mean, the man is like the leading crystallogist in the UK, and he's written several books, including the Crystal Healer Volumes 1 and 2, Crystal Reiki Healing, the Book of Crystal Grids. I mean, it just goes on and on. This man, and he's been importing crystals, and he's got like apparently either a retail or wholesale operation where crystals are coming and going, and now I kind of get where like you've got like an inside track on some of these crystals by hanging out with Philip.
Absolutely. I mean, as I said, I always absolutely love crystals, but the first time I walked into his crystal showroom, it was literally like walking into Aladdin's cave of crystals, and this incredible feeling came over me. And every time I see anyone walk in there for the first time, it's exactly the same thing. You're surrounded by crystals, and it's like, whoa, this energy just hits you, this incredible, amazing, magical energy. And sometimes, I mean, I felt a little bit woozy first time, I have to admit. That was also because I met Philip, but I felt a little bit woozy. So it was like, wow, what is this place? I went there with a girlfriend because initially to meet him, because I've been so interested in crystals, and I've been working with crystals for many, many years anyway. And it was wonderful because Philip was doing certain courses, and I thought, right, I want to get involved in these. This will be great. Let's do more and more. And now we teach the courses together. I've expanded. I'm teaching other courses as well. We're looking at writing other books potentially. And it just goes on, and it's very, very exciting. It really is.
Wow. Well, this is wonderful. Let's just go ahead and jump into the book. How's that sound?
Oh, yes. Let's jump into the book.
Yes. So I have a few slides, and you'll catch on to my rhythm as we go along. And I'm just going to I'll just kind of introduce each chapter, and then you can kind of take it from there and then we'll go to the next chapter. But anyway, the first chapter is titled "The Exciting World of Science and Crystals." And essentially it just talks all about the crystals, how they form, and where they can be found. And so it's kind of just that like introduction to what they're all about. But one of the little stories was the idea that crystals come in 7 different shapes. And I'm just going to show 2 different ones here. Here's the hexagonal, which is the quartz. And then what is the tetragonal. So anyway, it's like, this is like detailed information that you can study and you can go, oh my gosh, and yet it's presented in that simple way. So tell us, take it away. Tell us what you want to tell us about, shapes or all about the crystals. What are the first couple of chapters all about?
Well, so the first couple of chapters are sort of all about the crystals and the all the crystals, minerals, and all the rocks in the world. And they're like friends that you can work with and do special things with, because crystals speak. They talk to us. The more we get to know them, the more we can chat with them and speak to them. So, a mineral is, as we've said in the book, it's formed in space, the earth, the sea, or the sky, and it's a natural material, which is wonderful. And it's made of the same thing all the way through. So that's really exciting. Now, remember, in school, children are learning this as well. So it is wonderful for them to discover this and realize, oh, wow, there's something really beautiful that we can look at that are to do with the minerals. And yes, the crystals do come in sort of different perfect shapes. And all the crystals are formed from minerals. And what's really, really interesting is that there are atoms, and there are many, many, many atoms, lots and lots of them, and they're deep, deep down in the earth. And these atoms, and we've actually mentioned this, and we've talked about this in the book. These atoms, when the earth becomes hot, these atoms split up, or even if there's a volcanic earthquake or something, all these atoms and all the minerals split up, and they all come together with the molecules. So the atoms, the molecules are made of atoms, and the atoms literally they're really, really tiny, and so are the molecules. And when everything heats up, literally they come together. And then they all split up when the heat comes, and that's when they form the crystals. So when it all cools down, when the heat cools down, that's when the crystals are cooled. It's really, really interesting. And the molecules are like building blocks for everything else. And that's when the crystals start to grow. So that's very, very exciting. Crystals can grow in nature. Crystals grow in caves, which is really exciting. Sometimes we see stalagmites and stalagmites, which you hear about at school. The ice going from the top and the bottom, and they actually look like that. And years ago, many years ago, crystals are called crystallis. They were named crystallis, which means holy ice. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Holy ice. And the reason it was named holy ice is when these cavemen, these men, found these crystals, they thought they were ice. They thought this quartz crystal was ice. So they took it outside into the sunshine, and they couldn't understand why it wouldn't melt. It wasn't melting, and that was because they were crystals. So they called them crystallis. They thought it was God, sort of making these wonderful things. So they called them holy ice crystallis, which is absolutely beautiful. We call crystals stone people because they're our friends. They help us in so many ways. They have these wonderful energies. They are just absolutely incredible. The vibrations they can give off to us, they are healing. They can give us energy. They are full of energy. I mean, if I hold up my beautiful amethyst that I have here, you can see the sparkle, and that energy is sort of vibrating from it and coming through, literally. Can you feel it coming through the screen, Steve?
Yes. The thing that I took away from the chapter, and I forgot about it until you just mentioned it again, is really the idea that there's the crystals, the minerals, and the rocks. And we think of, I somehow thought like rocks are just like this solid like thing that is not, there's no life to it. It's not like a plant or a tree. And yet, reading the book, I came to understand that really they are alive because they are eating, they are forming, they are growing, even though the consumption of the food, that they use to grow and recreate, it takes thousands of years for it to happen. It happens on a very slow microscopic level. It happens on that molecule level that you talk about. And that really becomes, if we believe in energy and if we believe in the quantum world, then we understand how these things work, and we understand why these rocks, these crystals, these things that look like solid things that aren't doing anything, give off a vibrational energy, and that's what this world is all about. And that's what you're teaching children and adults like me. I'm only learning this the last few years, so this is a brand new world for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's so exciting. I mean, a rock maybe made of different minerals in the same piece. There's so much to them. It is so exciting. It really is. And crystals do eat. They don't eat what we eat. They won't eat chocolate biscuits and things like that. They'll eat the environment that they're growing in. So, whatever environment that they're growing in, then they'll eat like quartz will make in their environment might eat silicone and they'll eat oxygen. So that's really exciting, but they will eat. They won't eat grass and stuff like that. They're not grazing on the grass. It's slightly different, but absolutely fantastic. They do eat. It's just incredible.
Well, we've got 6 chapters to get through, so we'll keep going if you want. Is there anything else you want to say about that introduction? But the idea, I think the thing to take away is that, you lay down a foundation for the fact that these rocks aren't just these solid masses that are sitting there. They are vibrational, they are energy. And then the crystals become these special, these special kinds of different ones. And I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but we'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. Oh, just to say that, crystals can have baby crystals. They do have baby crystals. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Because when a crystal gets separated from its crystal friends, I suppose like when a crystal is separated from a wall of a crystal cave because the earth movement or something, then it sort of breaks away, and it sometimes has baby crystals growing at its end. And that is incredible to see when it does have that, and you can actually see them sometimes forming and growing even more. And you can leave them and say, "Wow, where's that suddenly appeared from? It's got another baby on it."
And some of the pictures, once I understood that, some of the pictures in the book, you can kind of see it. Go, oh, look, there's a little baby growing out of that one. So very good. All righty. Well, let's go back and let's talk about chapter 2, the magical energy of the crystals. And I've got just a couple more things to say about it. You talk about special powers of the crystals, and then the amazing things that the crystals can do. And there's the one story I just wanted to share from it was the idea of the body and the aura. And now this is not with the crystal per se, but this is kind of beginning to teach how the crystals interact with us. And so there's the body, there's the aura, and then here is the chakras that are the different energy centers of the body. And again, this is things that I never learned until just the last few years. So this is all brand new to me. So imagine kids, learning this at a young age and growing up with it. I think it's just a great service that you're doing.
Well, crystals can do. They are so amazing with energy. They are so full of energy, as I said before, and literally, our physical bodies are made up of, we call them energy hotspots, which are our chakras. Now, we have about 440 chakras in our bodies, all over our bodies, including in our palm of our hands, including in the soles of our feet, which is just incredible and mind-blowing. It really is amazing. And we really focus on 7, which, our crown chakra, through to our brow chakra, to our throat chakra, our heart chakra, and just underneath the breastbone, our solar plexus. Now, and they all have different meanings. And so our solar plexus for confidence, for self-esteem, just as an example, we would then maybe suggest to a child and to an adult, well, citrine, which I've actually got a beautiful piece of citrine here. Citrine is wonderful for confidence and to feel good, and something like tiger's eye. So there's all different types of crystals, which we've talked about in the book, that can help. And what we suggest is holding those crystals and just being with them and enjoying them and feeling the energy from those crystals. And you can feel the vibrations. Children can swap with their friends. They can all try different crystals and feel them and say, oh, this is one I really want to feel. And so citrine, which goes on your solar plexus. So you don't want to have a huge one like this, although that would be okay. But a little one like this, you just pop that on your solar plexus. And also your heart chakra. So maybe you'd have rose quartz, or you'd have aventurine. Now, aventurine, the green, which is green, is wonderful, and that helps you feel better because it's your main heart center. So for love and loving yourself and feeling good about yourself, so that can really help. So we've talked about all the different crystals that can help you and that can work through. You can put on and you can work through your different chakras with. So for instance, also your sacral chakra is just below your belly button, and we've described this in the book as well. We've shown everyone what they can do, and we've created different party games which are really fun, which we can talk about shortly when we come to them. And your sacral chakra just below your belly button is your creative chakra. So that's one of the things that is your sacral chakra. And you'd use carnelian for that. And that's sort of an orangey see-through color, which is absolutely wonderful. So we would say work with this crystal for your sacral chakra. And then you come to a base chakra. And just below your spine, we reach our coccyx, just below our spine. And then you bring it all the way round to the front. So literally from the base of your spine, bringing it all the way round to the front. And that's where you will place your base chakra. And we use red jasper for that. And red jasper is grounding. And sometimes when children and adults are worrying and they get upset and there's loads of things are going on and happening, they need to feel more grounded. So we show them how, and by using these particular crystals and putting them on certain chakras, they can feel more grounded. And that's actually really interesting, because when I mentioned the throat chakra before, there may be a lot of children that have suffered mental health from being in lockdown, and things have been quite challenging for them. And this is a wonderful way to help them. And I know children that have gone into school, and I have one particular young lady who was 7 years old that went to school, and she found it very challenging to stand up and speak in the class. So I said to her, okay, so I'd like you to take with you some blue lace agates, and hold it and just be with that and enjoy it, which is what we put on our throat chakra. And when you're doing it, you're putting them on your chakras, put the blue lace agate on your chakra. She did that. She took it into school with her. There's another crystal called kyanite, which is wonderful for that and to help you speak up as well. And she felt so much better.
Wow. It's there's so much to it. It's not the type of thing that you cannot read this one time and get it and understand it, but you can read through it and you can kind of get like a very nice overview, and then you can go back to the specific areas that you want to learn more about and reread it. And again, it's not, there's enough information there that you'll get a really good understanding of all the basics, and yet it's like kind of this high level. I mean, I don't know if it was you or Philip, but one of you did a fantastic, together you did a wonderful job. So
we worked on this together. I would say it was 50-50, literally, because Philip did one sort of focused on certain areas, I focused on certain areas, and then we brought it all together. One of the areas that I really focused on was the meditations with crystals for children as well, and the type of crystals to work with when you're doing your meditations. So as I mentioned before, boosting confidence, citrine, holding your crystal when you're doing your meditation, looking at the crystal when you're doing your meditation, whatever it is. And we teach children meditations in this book. So we give very simple meditations, starting with breathing, and started so that when they're feeling anxious or if they're feeling worried, how is it going to help them? What is it going to do? So there are different types. That's it. Yeah, that's Jasper, Philip's lovely nephew. Hi, Jasper, if you're watching. Blue calcite. We always recommend this for children because this is all calcites actually are very, very, very calming. So we've mentioned blue calcite, also wonderful for babies as well, putting it under their cots. Blue calcite's wonderful, along with green calcite and orange calcite, which I love and which I always find really fun for children, is great because it's very calming, but it can also make you laugh. And I had a little 4-year-old in quite a while ago, and I gave her a little treatment, and she was wonderful, and she lay back and she had the crystals on her, and I put orange calcite in her hands. And she started to giggle. She was giggling. She really was. It was a lovely little laughter, and it was really good fun. It was very sweet. So we talk about all the different crystals to calm you.
Yeah. All righty. Let's jump into the chapter 3, the working with the crystals. And really what you focus on is the idea that there are so many different ways that you can work with the crystals. It's not like just like, oh, you do this, you do that. There's many, many options. And then you provide a whole bunch of different ideas in terms of things that you can do. And I have I love the affirmation pages, and that was on pages 56 and 57. And there was probably, I don't know, it was probably 15 or 20 different affirmations, but I just have a couple of them. And here you have the citrine that says you feel happy, and then I have courage, and that was with the tiger's eye. So the tiger's eye will give you courage. And then finally, the I believe in myself, something for self-confidence, the amethyst. So I just love that. And again, here's just 3 examples of the different affirmations. But the page, you know, I don't know, there was 15 or 20 of them, and each one was a different crystal. And if you begin to play with it, not play with it, but, you know, play with it. Let's just call it playing. You can begin to feel the different vibrational energies of the crystals. And it's really quite involved. I mean, once you get going, you become addicted.
You absolutely become addicted. But the affirmations is something I am always working with children and adults. And affirmations are so key to our well-being. They're just one of the most important things for us to say to ourselves. And in meditations, I have my word meditation, and for the children to say to themselves over and over again, I feel happy, I feel I have courage, I believe in myself, I can do this. It makes such a difference, rather than them saying, I can't do this, I feel so sad, I'm so unhappy. It's what can you do? It's so important for them to tell, and all of us to say to ourselves what we can do, what we can achieve, how we can achieve it, because and remembering what we have achieved. So for us to help them and enable them to feel so much better about themselves, it's important for them to tell themselves what they can do. Also, oh, there you go. See, Philip's saying hi. He's in the showroom right now. He's in the crystal showroom. Steve.
Yes, he is.
Hi, Philip. Also, you know, we can drink. We can make wonderful elixirs, wonderful drinks, magic water to drink. Have a little drink with some of our crystals. Only sort of some mild ones. We can put them in overnight. We can take them in a little flask. We can put for love some rose quartz. We can put amethyst, and we've mentioned this in the book. So we've talked about in the book. And you leave it overnight in the fridge, and then you drink it during the day, which is wonderful. And it just gives you all those wonderful energy and vibrations, and you feel really good with it. So yeah, absolutely, really important.
Also mentioned in your book, you give some disclaimers in the sense that, gee, you know, there's certain precautions you have to take. This is not like a one size fits all. This is not something that replaces, you know, professional medical advice. But if we start to take control of our lives, we can, you know, in combination with different professionals, you know, we can enhance our own lives quite a bit by the use of crystals.
Well, I really believe that crystals are a wonderful combination with traditional medicine if it is needed. So crystals, as well as Reiki and meditation, everything used alongside traditional medication if it is needed. For me, I feel that it is really important, and for parents to know that and to tell their children that is really important. So if a child needs to go to the doctor, rather than them think, oh, well, I've got my crystals and they're going to fix everything, I don't need to go to the doctor, I'm going to be fine. To actually, for them to understand, yes, if you've got a bad cough or if you've got a tummy ache and you're really not feeling well, certain crystals are going to help you. You also need to see the doctor just to check if it's nothing else. And if it is, they may give you something to help you or whatever it is you need. And then you can take your crystals with you if you have to go to hospital because you need to have a little operation, your tonsils out, your adenoids out, or something, appendix, or something that is really important that needs to be done. Then we suggest and recommend having certain crystals that they take with them.
Nicci, I did change the banner. I forgot to do that at the very beginning, but now it has your information, mindmedication.co.uk. That's how we can, people can reach you. Tell people, just take a minute and tell people, you know, what you do in the bigger picture of things, because I did not read your bio this time, but you know, gosh, life and business coach, crystal healing practitioner, weekly healing practitioner, master NLP. You know, how do you typically work with what do you do typically when you're not authoring books?
When I'm not authoring books, so I'm a crystal master teacher. So I teach crystal courses with Philip, and I also teach an introduction to crystals myself, which I teach online, and I teach in person as well. I have one on Monday, taught some lovely ladies. That was really, really wonderful. I am a master Reiki. I'm a Reiki master, so I teach Reiki 1, Reiki level 2, and masters, Reiki masters. So again, I've just completed teaching a beautiful group of ladies, Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, and I have the next courses are coming up in the autumn, and I do refresher courses with people as well, which is wonderful. Online, I can do the refresher courses, and then next year they're all coming to do their masters, which is very, very exciting. And I also teach meditation. So Philip and I do a meditation course for teachers. So teachers can learn to teach meditation, which is really exciting. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? Oh my goodness, they're doing all this stuff. And I work with people that are suffering from all different things. If they're suffering from pain, if they're mentally or physically, helping them with relationships. So I have a course called Love Yourself and Manifest Abundance, Happiness and Romance. So I'm helping people in those areas of their life. I work with them. I'm a master NLP practitioner, which is neuro-linguistic programming. So it's sort of how we think and how we program our minds and what we say. So I am a life coach, amongst other things. But so what I do is I combine everything I do, including the crystals, and I work with children and adults on all of these areas to enable them to feel better. So my contribution to the book, I'm putting everything in there that I know and that I've done and that I've worked with children as well. So this has really made a difference to help them with, if they're worried, people are worried or they're anxious, and children get very worried and anxious, especially if exams are coming up and as I said, with COVID and having been in lockdown. So there is a lot out there. And there are a lot of things that I'm doing to help people in those particular areas.
Many of the subjects that you talked about, the meditation, the Reiki, they're kind of, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, these were not things that were talked about. But more and more people are coming to understand that we are all vibrational energy, and all of these practices have in common that vibrational energy, whether it's thoughts or whether it's taking, the physical crystals and using the energy that comes through them. And it's a subtle thing. It's something that takes a little bit of time and practice. Some people instantly can feel like lots of it. You talked about when you walked in the Phillips showroom the first time, almost the overwhelming, because you got your sensitivity meter already tuned up for it. So when you walked into it, you were like, it's almost like an overwhelming feeling. And you said you still have that feeling when you go in. And someone else who hasn't been exposed to it may not be able to sense that, initially, but with a little bit of practice. And so really what you're doing is you're helping people tune themselves to this vibrational energy of the world.
I don't even think people need to tune themselves into any of it, because it just happens. It's natural. Crystals give you what you need. In fact, most people or anyone that comes into the crystal showroom, because there are so many crystals, they all say, wow, they feel something. They feel some kind of wow energy, some amazingness, which is really wonderful. So yeah, crystals give you what you need. And even if you don't necessarily feel anything, you're still getting. They're still giving. They are constantly giving, because I said to you, they're real. They're real little people. I talk to them. Sometimes if I'm going out the front door and I've forgotten a particular crystal, I'll hear in my voice, hey, you've forgotten me. Come back and get me. And I'll do it. I know you think that's crazy, but Philip does that as well.
I'm sure that you've seen it, and Philip has seen it probably thousands of times, people come in and they might be like, overwhelmed with all this energy going on, but they instantly like know which one to go to, and they just touch them and pick them up and feel them. And, energetically, they just get attracted to certain ones, whether it's, through a look or a feel or color or, sparkle. It all kind of works together.
Well, that's really interesting because adults and children, if we are drawn to a crystal, we're looking there and we're like, wow, I love this crystal. I've got to have it. It's for me. It's saying something. And then there might be another crystal you might look at and think, oh, that is the most revolting crystal. There's no way I want it. There's no how. And there's this story that I love telling, and I always tell it. It's to do with my little grandson, Louis, who's 2.5 years old. And bless him. Philip and I wanted to give him a big bowl of beautiful crystals, a whole bowl of crystals. And I sat in the showroom one day and I was putting all these crystals into this gorgeous wooden bowl. And I came across this one particular crystal that was a Dalmatian crystal. And I thought, oh, that's not for me. I don't like that. That's not for my Louis. Anyway, I looked at Philip. Philip looked at me, and it was like, he needs it, doesn't he? I need to give it to him because there are crystals that we really don't like. And if we really don't like them, it also means that we need them. If we just don't want them. So we gave the bowl of crystals to Louis, loads of them. And the first crystal he picked up was the Dalmatian crystal. He literally found it. And guess what? He gave it to me.
Wow.
Really?
I'm going to a little bit of a speculative question on my part. If somebody goes in and sees a crystal and they instantly pick it up, have you ever had the experience where after then they tell you a little bit about that story, you connect the dots between the one they just found and what they needed in their life? Does that happen?
Yes, absolutely. Because people that are drawn to certain crystals, they are the crystals that they need. So yes, if they start telling us a story about their life, and if they say, for instance, they're really drawn to citrine and they love it, or they're really drawn to amethyst. I've got a nice piece of amethyst here, and they're spending their whole life with the amethyst, and they're worried, or they're very anxious, but they're really drawn to this. Then that is what amethyst can do for you. If someone is constantly having horrendous headaches, banded amethyst, dark amethyst is really wonderful for that. Again, someone comes and picks that up, we know that's what they absolutely needed. And if they tell us, if they come in and they say to us, we're having really awful headaches, we're getting migraines all the time, obviously we would say, have you checked it out with your doctor? You need to check it out with them. This is what we would suggest you have: a dark amethyst or a banded amethyst. Have a go with this, hold it, put it by your bed, put it under your pillow at night, take it out with you, keep it in your bag or your pocket. So yes, when someone picks something up, we know that they're meant to have it. And funny enough, I had one client was very, very depressed. She really was in a bad space. And I gave her a particular crystal that she thought was revolting. She said, no, Nicci, I really don't want to hold that. And I said, just amuse me. Just keep me amused just for a little while. So she said, okay. By the end of the session, she absolutely loved it. She said, can I take it home?
Yeah.
So because it started to connect with her. And it wasn't just about the look. It was about what she felt and how it was helping her.
Yeah. All righty. Well, let's go ahead and jump right back into the book again. We got a couple more chapters to get through. Chapter 4 is sharing your crystals. And this is really where you get to show off the brilliance of a particular crystal and how crystals can help others. And, as you become more tuned in with it, it's not just for you, it's for helping others.
Oh, absolutely.
And then what do I have here? I got a couple of, let's see. Oh yeah. So then this was one of the stories in there, the chakra set. And you need that master crystal, but then you have a individual crystal for each of the different chakras. And I just picked out 2. You already mentioned them. The green for the heart chakra, the center chakra, and then I picked out the blue for the throat chakra. And the reason why I picked that out is that I've been when I did my Akashic record, it became clear that my throat chakra is one of while all the chakras are important, as a communicator, the throat chakra has a special significance to me. So I wanted to share that one there. And so I just thought it was great that, that the idea that the crystals begin to work in concert with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. And that we teach the children how to give themselves a treatment, which is really wonderful. So we teach them the chakras, but actually doing it together with their friends, we're doing sort of pin the chakras or the colors on the yogi, the colors of the chakras, pin them on the yogi. We're suggesting to children they can start a crystal club. So they can have a crystal club with all their friends, out of lockdown times. And now, if they are, children can come together, they can play together, they can discover different crystals, they can do a kind of show and tell with them. They can have such fun with them. They can have crystal parties. In fact, Philip and I had a message from a mum, and she said, it was so fabulous. I had a crystal party, not just for my children, but we had it for the adults as well. So everyone brought different crystals to the party, and then everyone shared them, and they can have swapsies. They can look and identify different crystals. It's wonderful.
There we go. The crystal party.
Yeah, having a crystal party. Yeah, which is really great. And of course, crystals are wonderful for animals. So if people have animals, our doggy, our Teddy, he absolutely loves crystals. He'll bring one to us sometimes as well. Our little healing doggy. Not so little. I always say, we thought he was going to be handbag size, but he's this big. This big. He's bigger than the screen.
All righty. Well, let's we'll get through one more chapter, your crystal finder. And the idea with that chapter is that you can identify the crystals, choose particular crystals that will be good for you, and then how to start to understand what you and Philip do. And that's, how crystals help others. So it goes quite, I guess the first step is to really understand how it helps yourself. Just like the fasten your own seatbelt before you help others. But so anyway, it's just people can really dive deep. And then the 3 most powerful crystals, this was fascinating: quartz, and then the amethyst, and then the rose quartz. And why is it that those 3 are considered the most powerful crystals?
Quartz is one of the most powerful crystals. It is the crystal of energy. It is the wonderful, wonderful crystal of light and everything that will help you in all areas of your life. It's absolutely the master crystal, along with amethyst that is fantastic and fabulous for helping with all different areas. In fact, amethyst is the main crystal for your crown chakra as well, because that sort of oversees everything else. It is wonderful for helping with worry. It keeps you peaceful. It's a beautiful, beautiful crystal. And of course, rose quartz is our crystal for love. So all 3 of them have a very, very important part to play. All crystals are powerful. All crystals are important, but these 3 are kind of the standout crystals, the master crystals that we always want to talk about.
Yeah, I guess if a person's just getting started in crystals, they'll want to get some of those, sooner than later.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would always recommend that if they are starting out, definitely rose quartz, As I said earlier, definitely rose quartz and amethyst is wonderful for sure, and also a quartz crystal, which is lovely. And I also recommend for children, selenite is wonderful. I have a selenite heart here, which and a selenite wand, which is the most gentlest, one of the most gentlest of crystals. Can you see the light there?
Yep.
It's absolutely
Beautiful.
stunning. And this is very calming and soothing. Also with quartz, which is wonderful. If you have a crystal ball, you stare at you sit and you look into your crystal ball, you can see so much, but you can also dump all your worries in there, and it will all dissipate, and they'll change them into positive things. And you can literally look at it and just dump things in it. It's absolutely fabulous.
All righty. Well, very good. Here we're going to get to the last chapter. Let's see. Here we go. How can my crystals help me? And the essentially it was like there's many ways, but it can help them make you happier. Have an easier life, your day brighter, and then there are very specific crystals that offer very specific help, and that's where you need to have a little bit more of an advanced understanding of it, but people can learn this on their own, and actually all they need to do is get the book.
Yeah, hang on.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, so I don't have any pictures to show from this chapter, but I thought I'll let you take it away and what it's almost like a summary of what we've been talking about in terms of how do you wrap it all up. We're getting to the end of the hour anyway, so go ahead and put a bow on this and we'll finish up.
Okay, so and just before I put the bow, really important, we taught the children how to cleanse their crystals, which is very spiritual cleansing crystals, rather than just washing them. Cleansing their crystals, they can actually put them in bubbles. You hear them going, "Yay!" I love that. They really enjoy that. So cleansing their crystals, washing them under water, putting them under the moonlight for a full moon, burying them in the earth because it's like they're reborn. So we just teach them all these different things in the book as well, which is exciting. One of the big things for children to know is crystals help them. They are there to help them. They are there to help them make change, to feel better about themselves, to laugh again, to manage things, to manage their worries, to manage anxiety, and to actually embrace them and to start really working with them, with their friends, and enjoying them and having fun with them. So, and to learn to meditate with them as well, because all of these things can help children to feel so much better about themselves. And it also gives them another focus, something for them to focus on, to enjoy and have fun with. So they might be sparkly and fabulous, but now we're teaching them, well, this is also what you can do with all the sparkly, fabulous magic that crystals are now giving you. And it's all here in our books. You've got the scientific side of it. You've then got what you can do with your crystals, how they can work for you, all the affirmations to enable you to feel better, washing your crystals, the games you can play with your crystals, all the meditations you can do with your crystals. And then if you have different ailments, they're not feeling well, or there's certain things that are going on with them, they can look that up too. Oh, this will help my headache. This will help my tummy ache, and so on and so on. So it's all in there for them. And if there's anything anyone wants to ask me, please let me know. I'm doing a workshop here in London with my daughter-in-law, Emma. She's a teacher. She teaches this age group. And we're going to be doing the My Crystal Guide workshop on Wednesday, the 18th of June. And we're going to be working with ages 6 to 8 years old for a couple of hours in the morning. And then ages 9 to 11, although there are a few 12 and 13-year-olds that want to come along, which is going to be great. And then I'm also going to be teaching a children's My Crystal Guide practitioners course for crystal practitioners that want to go off and work with our courses for practitioners.
Wow. So you're busy. You're back. The world is opening back up. You're still doing online events, but you're starting to do events in person again, and you're doing what you love. And what I really think is neat about the crystals is that you said it. It helps kids to learn how to feel and to get in touch with their feelings, and the different crystals can be connected to different feelings. When I look back at my own childhood, which was certainly a wonderful experience, I was taught how to think, but I wasn't necessarily taught how to feel. There was not a lot of that conversation going on. So I love this conversation because it's something that I personally came to the party a bit late on, but I'm catching up and I'm learning as we go. And it's so important. And so I just think that this book, what you and Philip have done, is a great service for children and adults. So thank you so much.
Oh, our pleasure. I'm so glad you have a copy of it. And if anyone just wants to ask me anything, just please send me an email. Absolute pleasure. I will message you back, or you want to have a FaceTime or a whatever it is with me, a Zoom, then yeah, absolute pleasure.
All righty. Well, and one of the things that I have, I don't know that we've talked about. So when I did my drive across the United States a couple of months ago, I stopped in Boulder at Angie LaRue's Crystal Sanctum, and I had a crystal array done, and I still have that video footage of that interview, and I haven't shared it yet, but that still has to happen. So you'll want to see that, and at some point, Angie and you and Philip all need to become acquainted with each other, because the work that you're doing is really special. And I just, I'm grateful to you and all of the people who are doing this crystal work, because it's helping me to, it's helping me to grow and learn about things that I just didn't understand before. And yet once you start to go down that, avenue of learning, it's like, oh my gosh, there's a whole other way of looking at the way the world works. And so that's what I like about crystals. And so thank you for what you've been doing and for what you are doing.
Oh, pleasure. And, it's so magical and so special. And it's just wonderful to introduce crystals and do what we're doing with so many people. It just means so much. And thank you. Thank you for today. And I'm really happy that you love the book.
Yeah, there it is one more time, and you can get it on Amazon, or you can go to Nicci's website, and I'm sure there's links there that will take you directly to where it can be purchased. So,
or you can go directly to Philip. If you go on thecrystalhealer.co.uk, you can find. If you look up The Crystal Healer on Google, you can then directly. It is for sale on Philip's website.
All right, I just added that to the chat. I hope I put the right URL in there, but thecrystalhealer.co.uk.
The Crystal Healer, .co.uk. Yes.
Perfect.
And you can buy it on there. I haven't got it on mine. We've got it on Philip's website, and you can go directly and buy it from there, or you can buy it on Amazon. And it will be wonderful to see lots of children reading it, and also lots of adults reading it too. So it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the brilliant thing about it. It's written for a child to be able to understand and read, and yet it's actually, I was feeling like I was a child. Like I was like, oh, I needed to start right at the beginning, and there's really a lot of information there. So it's not like. It's not like you're being, just the basics. You're getting there. You can go as deep as you want with these different things. And it'll be the type of book that you would open over and over again, because it's like, what was that all about? How did that connect with this? What was the particular crystal for this chakra? Or, what about a crystal for, when I'm feeling, and then the different colors. I mean, there's a whole section on colors of crystals. There's 10 or 12 pages where it's just different types of reds and yellows and pinks and blues and blacks and all the different colors. So I have to ask you, how many pictures are there? I know it said somewhere there's a professional photographer who had to come in and take all the pictures. How in the world did that whole process get organized? It must have been a massive job to document them all.
It was. That was Philip's department to to sort all that out. Philip, if you're listening,
He did a wonderful job.
That was the publishers. They had somebody specifically do it, and they coordinated with Philip. They also coordinated with me on certain things that I wanted for certain pages as well. Yeah. So we both did that, but he was on certain technical things, because it's very important to have particular lighting, because if someone says, can you tell us what this crystal is, and sends a picture, we won't ever identify it unless we actually see it. So these crystals are kind of true to their color on here and how they look. So it was very important to get them exactly right. There are so many.
There has to be hundreds of pictures in the book. I mean, it's just a wonderful, colorful book with lots of, pages and rocks and minerals and crystals, and it just goes on and on. So great job. Thank you so much. Will you ever come back again? Will you ever come back to the American Gumption Morning Show again?
Of course I will. What should we talk about next? We'll think of something.
We'll think of something.
We will. We always do. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Thank you, Nicci. We'll see you next time.
Lots of love.
All righty. Well, thank you, Nicci Roscoe. Go to her webpage, mindmedication.co.uk. And then Philip's website is thecrystalhealer.co.uk. And, there's a copy of the book on that link there. So anyway, thank you so much, Nicci and Philip, for what you've done. And I'm just grateful that I got a copy to, read in advance and see what was happening. And it's a great book. So if anybody has an interest in crystals, this is a great starter book, and it'll give you all of the basics. All righty. Now, tomorrow, Kiva Dag is going to join us. We're going to talk about the elements, not just the rocks that come out of the earth or the crystals that come out of the earth. We're going to talk about air, fire, and water, along with the earth. All righty. On Friday, Darlene Andy will join us. She comes to us from Canada, and she is a freedom fighter for sovereign rights. As we open up the country, people all over the world want to have the freedoms to live a life and to have fun and have joy and have peace. And, this last year has seen some of those rights diminish. So there's people that are actually out there making a difference and saying, hey, we want to have all the freedoms. We want to have more freedoms. We don't want to have less freedoms. That'll be on Friday. And then next week on Tuesday, Denise Flood joins us, and I've got guests on Friday and hopefully on Wednesday and Thursday also. I think I do, but can't announce at this point. So that's it. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all tomorrow.